Okay, Jai Sri Sudarshana. How are you all, kids? All good?
Again, finally.
Super. So, இது என்ன செஷன் தெரியுமா?
Again, time management session.
Time management session. So, இன்னைக்கு என்ன பண்ண போறோம்னா, we will actually quickly go through whatever we have seen so far. Is my voice clear?
Yes, again.
Okay. So, we'll quickly go through what we have seen so far, and we will also look at a couple of more interesting traits which successful people have. Sharia. So people, in fact, we have got, this is the class for both the batches combined, and we got only some 25 odd kids if we take out the regular adults. So that's a very, very, very poor attendance once again. So this got to improve really, and we are going to introduce some new point system, so I will address this later. So first to recap the time management session la இதுவரைக்கும் என்ன பார்த்திருக்கோம் அப்படிங்கறத பத்தி I will enable Q&A so that all of you don't unmute at the same time. First question, what is Sampradayam? Who wants to answer? Who remembers this? What is Sampradayam?
Adiyan nammaloda sottu adiyan.
Sottu. It's basically traditional asset, which is nothing but jnanam, which comes through the special asset, which comes through acharyas from generations. So, yeah, so we are all born with the golden spoon in that sense. Do you agree? We are all born very rich. Is that right? Okay. So many don't still believe. Sherry, is it possible to excel in both? Yes or no? No, Adiyan, it's too tiresome. We can only do one well. Abdinara Sulra Kela. Is it possible to excel in both Sampradaya education as well as, have you seen enough examples of people who are successful in both? In fact, Ramanujam Swami once came. He is basically one of the top chartered accountants. He was a gold medalist. He is a CFO. He said it actually helps to take a break, recite Vedas for a while, going for Kalakshepams. He said it actually gives him a break and focus better. Next, what is that magic power that makes you virtually unstoppable? We discussed this also. So what is that? Anybody else? Press a question and you can answer, or type it in the chat. Both are fine. What is that one thing which is so important that makes you virtually unstoppable in what you do? Super. Keshav Swami. Very good. Who else? Question yara press pannirkala? Illa. So self discipline. Adu kuda ottar da answer pandrike. What is self discipline? Who wants to describe what is self discipline?
Again, self discipline na நம்மளுக்கு ரூல்ஸ் போட்டு ஃபாலோ பண்ணது அடியேன்.
நம்மளே போட்டு ஃபாலோ பண்றது. அம்மா அப்பாலாம் சேஸ் பண்ணாம நம்மளே கரெக்டா டைம் ஆயிடுத்து இன்னைக்கு திருவ சொல்லணும்னா ராத்திரி படுத்துக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னால சொல்லணும்னா சொல்லிடணும். கரெக்டா? எக்ஸலண்ட், வெரி குட் சர்வஜித். மாதவ் சுவாமி என்ன சொல்றாரு கேட்கலாம். வாட் இஸ் செல்ஃப் டிசிப்ளின்?
டைம் டேபிள் போட்டு நம்ம கரெக்டா அத ஃபாலோ பண்ணோம்.
கரெக்டா ஃபாலோ பண்ணோம். டைம் டேபிள் போட்டியான்னு யாராவது ஃபாலோ பண்ணுமா இல்ல அதை நீங்களே போடணுமா?
நம்மளே ஃபாலோ பண்ணோம். அத கரெக்டா
நம்மளே ஃபாலோ பண்ணோம். நம்மளே டைம் டேபிள் போடணும். டைம் டேபிள் போடலைன்னா நம்மளே போட்டுக்கணும். கரெக்டா?
ஆமா.
சூப்பர், வெரி குட். Anybody else? What is self discipline? Pragati.
Again, self discipline நம்மளே ஒரு டைம் டேபிள் போட்டு ஃபாலோ பண்ணி எல்லாத்தையுமே பண்ணுறது.
யாருமே சொல்லாம நம்மளே ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறது தான் செல்ஃப் டிசிப்ளின். கரெக்டா? வெரி குட். Then so we saw a lot of echo work. Okay, so then we saw the important traits of successful people. பார்த்தோம். அதுல வந்து first thing we saw self discipline, which is very 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 important. ஏன்னா நம்மள வந்து ஒருத்தர் சொல்லிட்டே இருந்தோம்னா we can never be successful because they will feel bored after a point of time, right? Next is basically time management. So time management நால என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம். Some of you basically mentioned it now. Today what we are going to see is aspiration and drive. So self discipline la என்னன்னு பார்த்துட்டோம். டைம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்னா என்னன்னு பார்த்துட்டோம். why it is important னு பார்த்தோம். if you don't actually have proper time management என்ன ஆகும்? ரேண்டமா சும்மா எனக்கு தோன்றச்சே பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு பண்ண முடியுமா? டைம் டேபிள்லாம் எதுவுமே கிடையாது, எனக்கு டிசிப்ளினா இருக்க, நான் எப்பயாவது சந்த சொல்றேன். why time table is important? anybody, any idea?
அடியன் அப்பதான் அடியன் கேக்குதா?
கேக்குறது அடியன்.
அடியன் அப்பதான் அடியன் எல்லாத்தையும் பண்ண முடியும் அண்ட் கரெக்டா முடிப்போம் டைம்ல.
கரெக்டா டைம்ல முடிப்போம் இல்லையா? there are somebody who probably might be doing this without a timetable, right?
அடியன் விஷ்ணு அடியன் என்னமோ சொல்லணும் அடியன்.
சொல்லுங்க அடியன்.
அடியன் we need to put timetable because we don't skip any important thing we need to do அடியன்.
We don't skip. கரெக்டா? வெரி குட். ஸோ இன்னொரு விஷயம் என்னன்னா டைம் டேபிள்ல when we actually start putting timetable, right, the general tendency என்ன ஆகும்னா if there is a free time and if you're following a timetable you will be inclined to enter something. ஐயோ இங்க ஃப்ரீயா இருக்கு, நம்ம ஏதாவது பண்ணணும்னு நமக்கே தோணும். அது it can be anything. I'm not saying it should only be studies. இப்போ வந்து 3:30 to 4:30 அப்படின்னா டைம் டேபிளே போடலன்னா ஒரு நாளைக்கு நீங்க 6 மணிக்கு எழுந்து போயல், ஒரு நாளைக்கு 8 மணிக்கு எழுந்து போயல், ஒரு நாளைக்கு 10 மணிக்கு திருவ சொல்லுவேல், ஒரு நாளைக்கு திருவ சொல்ல மாட்டேன். because there is no way to track. and இன்னொரு விஷயம், when you know you need only 30 minutes to say திருவை, when you see there are a lot of other free times you will be forced to fill that. so that's why it's very important. do you know somebody who's very successful? do you know somebody who's very popular or your role model? can you think of some name whom you want to emulate? anybody? I want to be like this அப்படினு யாராவது இருக்கீங்களா? I want to become like somebody. அது வந்து அம்மாவா இருக்கலாம், அப்பாவா இருக்கலாம், வித்வான்களா இருக்கலாம், குருவா இருக்கலாம். it can be sports person, it can be somebody, a scientist or an actor. it does not matter. whom do you like the most among the successful people?
அடியன் விஷ்ணு ரோல் மாடல் இருக்காரு.
யார் அடியன்?
அடியன் ஸ்ரீனிவாச ராமானுஜர் அடியன். he never wasted time அடியன்.
he never wastes time, right?
சரி.
நீங்க அந்த மாதிரி டைம் வேஸ்ட் பண்ணாம இருக்கல இப்ப
இல்ல அடியேன் பண்றேன்
இல்ல
அடியேன்.
இல்ல but you try to follow him, right?
Yes அடியேன்.
Okay. Shravan says Dushyant Sridhar Swami. Fantastic. Shravan, do you think Dushyant Sridhar Swami doesn't have any plan, any timetable, any organized structure for his success?
No அடியேன். I think he has again.
Yes, right? இப்ப
Yes,
நான்
again.
துஷ்யந்த் ஸ்ரீதர் சுவாமி கிட்ட கேட்டு ஜனவரி டிசம்பர் 28 சங்கோஷ்டிக்கு வரையலா அப்படின்னு கேட்டேன்னா சுவாமி எனக்கு டிசம்பர் 28 ஐ cannot check my schedule now, நீங்க டிசம்பர் 26 வந்து சொல்லுங்கன்னு சொல்லுவாரா? He will have his schedule for the next 6 months easily, right?
Yes again.
That will be the case for every successful people. But do you know your schedule for the next 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? It's all examination season, right?
No
How
அடியேன்.
many of you know what you will do for the next 2 weeks? How many of you know? Let's be honest. I know my plan for the next 2 weeks because it's examination season. How many of you will know? You will just know I'll come from school. Whenever I feel like, I will study. But there is no time to it. Can Dushyant Sridhar Swami work like that? He does not know what is his program for next 2 weeks. Can he be successful that way? He cannot be successful, right? But you don't have one because you think you can be successful without that. Is it possible? Okay, fantastic. So all of you understand. So greatness begins beyond your what? Who remembers this?
அடியேன் comfort zone.
Comfort zone. Fantastic. யார் சொன்னது?
அடியேன் அவனிஜா.
Avanija. So what is comfort zone?
Again, comfort zone means just whatever, however it is, we just like how we want. We won't come out. We won't do anything extra to become successful. That is our comfort zone. We have to come out of it, and then only we can become successful.
You have to come out of it, or there is another way. We have to extend our comfort zone, right? If getting up at 8 o'clock is what makes us comfortable, we have to extend that comfort zone to get up at 6 o'clock. Attending the class, not attending the class makes us feel comfortable, then we have to extend that comfort zone so that whatever that needs to be in that zone should come into that zone, so that we start feeling comfortable about things. Sharia, fantastic. Smart, all of you. So Swami share பண்ணதே Smt Prabha Senesh share பண்ணதெல்லாம் ஞாபகம் இருக்கு இல்லையா எல்லாருக்கும்? Does anyone remember? If you don't remember, go back to the video and listen to it. These are some of the timetables I got from kids, so I'm just copying it. Keshav Swami, இந்த timetable எல்லாம் follow பண்றீங்களா?
பண்றேன் அடியேன்.
Okay, end of the day வந்து you have to mark எதெல்லாம் follow பண்ணிருக்கீங்க பண்ணல அப்படிங்கிறது. So daily mark பண்றீங்களா?
வீட்லயே பண்றேன் அடியேன்.
சரி, இந்த வீக்ல எத்தனை நாள் நீங்க டைம் டேபிள்ல போட்டதை பண்ணாம இருந்தீங்க? as per the time table, how many days you didn't follow?
4 days அடியேன்.
4 days, right? Are you happy about it?
No அடியேன்.
No. Good. Fantastic. Okay, these are some of the timetables. So like I said, if you actually have this timetable and if you start using it, you will be forced to enter something. That is the first step. If you say 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., you can just say play. Then you will actually start visualizing 5 to 6 I have to play. 6 to 7 I have to be in Sampradaya Manjari classes. 7 to 8 my dinner time. So you will actually start thinking, putting your mind on these times. So that's why timetable is important. Otherwise it will be just some random thoughts, not getting organized. Okay, is that clear so far?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is your dream job? Anybody? I want to be this CEO of Microsoft, or I want to basically drive an F1 car, or I want to do upanyasams every day, or I want to be the Veda teacher like Sardi Swami. What is your dream role? Anybody?
Adiyan.
What do you aspire to be?
Adiyan, robot engineer, Adiyan.
Robot engineer. Why, Adiyan?
Adiyan, future-ல அதுதான் Adiyan இருக்கும் நிறையா. அதனால அதை கிரியேட் பண்ணணும்னு ஆசை Adiyan.
ஃபியூச்சர்ல அதுதான் இருக்கும். ரோபோட் இன்ஜினியர் யார் அது?
ஸ்ருதி Adiyan.
Shruti. So Shruti aspires to be a robot engineer. Where are any other roles?
Adiyan, Raghavadiyan.
Adiyan, Swami.
Adiyan, நான் வந்து டீச்சரா ஆகணும் Adiyan.
டீச்சர் ஆகணுமா? எந்த ஸ்கூல்ல? சம்பிரதாய மஞ்சரிலையா? காலேஜ்லயா? சம்பிரதாய மஞ்சரில இல்லையா? சரி, காலேஜ்ல டீச்சர் ஆகணும் நீங்க. ஏன் காலேஜ்ல டீச்சர் ஆகணும்? எல்லாருக்கும் கத்து கொடுக்கணுமா? பார்த்தா சொல்ற மாதிரி மிரட்டலாம் இல்ல, எல்லாரையும் ஒழுங்கா கத்துக்கலன்னா? அப்படியா? சூப்பர் அடியன். ஓகே, ஸ்ரவன் ஸ்கிரீன் மேக்கர், கார்த்திக் சயின்டிஸ்ட், ராகவன் சிவில் இன்ஜினியர், விஸ்வதா ஆர்டிஸ்ட். சொல்லுங்க அடியன். எஸ் அடியன். வசுதாவா? லாயர் ஆனுமா? ஏன் அடியன்? வசைதா வந்து லாயர் ஆக முடியாது, ஷை இல்லாம இருக்கணுமே. ஷை இல்லையா? ஷை இல்லையா? சரி, ஓகே. So Vasudha wants to be a lawyer.
அடியன் கேசவ் அடியன், எனக்கு வந்து நீங்களா ஆகணும் அடியன்.
நாங்களா ஆகணும் அடியன்?
ஆமா அடியன்.
சூப்பர் அடியன். உங்களுக்கு தனியா ஒரு ஸ்வீட் தரேன்.
Thank you அடியன்.
ஓகே, சூப்பர்.
அடியன் மாதவுக்கு பட்டர் சுவாமி ஆகணும் அடியன்.
பட்டர் சுவாமி ஆகணுமா அடியன்?
ஆமா அடியன்.
தூளூர் கோயில் ஆக்கி விட்டுலாமா உங்களை பட்டர் சுவாமியா?
சரி அடியன்.
சரி அடியன், சூப்பர் அடியன். தோசகன் சுவாமி என்ன சுவாமி?
அடியன் பைலட் ஆகணும். அப்புறம் கிருஷ்ணரை வாழ்க்கையில ஒரு வாட்டி பார்த்துக்கணும் அடியன் நேர்ல.
கிருஷ்ணரை நேர்ல ஒரு வாட்டி பார்த்துக்கணுமா சுவாமி? போதுமா? கிருஷ்ணர் ஒரு வாட்டி நேர் எப்படி கண்டுபிடிப்பல் இவர் தான் கிருஷ்ணர் நேர்ல பார்த்தா? யாரோ ஒருத்தர் வந்து
பெருமாளை பார்க்கணும் அப்படின்னு கேட்பேன் அடியன்.
அடியன் இப்ப கிருஷ்ணர் உங்க முன்னால வந்து நான் தான் கிருஷ்ணர்னா நீங்க ஒத்துப்பேளா?
அடியன் ஒத்துப்பேன் அடியன்.
எப்படி ஒத்துப்பேள்? நான் வந்து சொல்றேன் நாளைக்கு நான் தான் கிருஷ்ணர் அப்படின்னா ஒத்துப்பேளா?
இல்ல, நான் வந்து கண்ணினும் 12,000 வாட்டி சொல்லிட்டு நம்மளோட வருவார். அப்ப வந்து கிருஷ்ணரை முடிஞ்சா
Sorry, okay. Very good. So you aspire to see Krishna. You know what you should do? You should have the drive to recite Kaninum Jiridamba 12,000 times. Okay, va? That's what you want to do, right? So basically, it's as simple as that. Everything basically you can whatever you can aspire to be, it is possible to be what you want to be. There is absolutely nothing which is impossible. And a lot of scientists, filmmaker, lawyer, everything is possible, right? And the first step towards it is you have to start. Solunga Swami.
Again, I want the scientist again.
Okay, Dian. Super. So the first thing, Patilna, how many of you believe that whatever you want to aspire to be a lawyer or successful or and the mari irukra ellarume or plan irukum illaya? What is that I want to plan to become a lawyer? What is my plan to become? Aditya wants to be a singer, right? Oh, na singer ஆகணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு பாட்டு கிளாஸ்க்கே போகாம இல்ல வெறும் கிளாஸ்க்கு மட்டும் போயிட்டு பிராக்டிஸே பண்ணாம இருந்தா சிங்கர் ஆக முடியுமா? If you want to be a scientist, if you start reading history, can you be a scientist? So we can actually be whatever we want to be, but we should know what is the drive and the commitment that is required for it. Chariya. So we'll go through some more in detail. So in the traits of successful people, like today what we are going to see is aspiration and drive, right? So you all said, I want to be this, I want to be this. So that's basically an aspiration. So aspiration na enna? Who knows what is aspiration? சும்மா எனக்கு என்ன வேணும்னு சொல்லிடுறேன் அவ்வளவுதான் அடியன் அப்படிங்கறல
அடியன் aspiration means you think of something you want to achieve and working towards it.
Fantastic. Pranavade?
Yes sir, Pranav sir.
Super Swami, very good. Anybody else? நீங்களே இவ்வளவு ஸ்மார்ட்டா இருக்கீங்களே, நீங்க கிளாஸ் எடுக்கலாம் ஆக்சுவலா.
அடியன் விஷ்ணு அடியன்.
சொல்லுங்க அடியன்.
Working towards making our dream come true அடியன்.
Working towards making our dream come true. அதுதான் aspiration and drive together, right? So நம்ம வந்து working towards எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சிட்டு ஒர்க் பண்ணாமே இருந்தா ட்ரீம் வருமா, ட்ரூ ஆகுமா? ஆகாது இல்லையா? So first of all வந்து if my dream needs to come true, first நீங்க பேசினோடனே மியூட் பண்ணணும், because there is a lot of echo. So first சொல்லிட்டு when you answer you mute first, okay? So if you don't work towards your dream, I know I need to work towards my dream, I know I need to say so much of Tiruvai, I need to attend so much of classes, I need to finish my homework, I need to study 5 hours a day. எனக்கு தெரியும், ஆனா நான் பண்ணலன்னா என்ன ஆகும்? The results will not be what it is, right? So basically aspiration means a strong desire to achieve something high or great. Fantastic. So you should start visualizing. இப்போ கோசங்கன் செட் பைலட் ஆகணும் அப்படின்னு, வசுதா செட் லாயர் ஆகணும், சயின்டிஸ்ட் ஆகணும், பட்டர் ஆகணும். ஸோ யூ ஸ்டார்ட் இமேஜினிங் யுவர் செல்ஃப். இப்போ மாதவ் செட் பட்டர் ஆகணும். ஸோ கோயிலுக்கு போகும்போது நாளைக்கு நான் பட்டரா இந்த இடத்துல இருந்தேன்னா நான் 4 பேருக்கு சடாரி சாச்சேன்னா எப்படி? யூ ஸ்டார்ட் விஷுவலைசிங் யுவர் செல்ஃப் இன் த சிச்சுவேஷன், பிகாஸ் தட் இஸ் something which will actually keep your dreams alive. So if a lawyer ponona, when you see a lawyer you will start to think, this is how I will also be arguing. If I am a scientist, this is what I will actually discover, right? So you should start visualizing. So is the aspiration important to be successful? Na chumma I don't know what I want to be, let's see, I will study for 10 years, let's see whatever that happens. Can you be successful that way, without any aspiration, without any goal?
No, Adiyan.
So it is very important, right?
Adiyan should have a goal. Someone you can.
ஸ்ரீராம் சொன்ன அன்மியூட் பண்ணி சொன்னாலே கேட்கும், மியூட் பண்ணி சொன்னாலே கேட்கும், அன்மியூட் பண்ணி வேற சொல்றேன். So is aspiration important? Can you just
Yes, it is very much important.
Can you just live without any goal? அதெல்லாம் எதுவும் வேணாடி, நான் I will study for 10 years, whatever happens let's see அப்படின்னு எத்தனை பேர் இருக்கல? So we all agree aspiration is important, right? But still there are so many of you who don't have any aspirations, right? Because you're just too lazy to work towards what you aspire to be. Because you don't have discipline, you don't have time management, you just want to take things as they come along. So what happens? You become too lazy to achieve anything, so there is no aspiration. You just attend, let's see, wherever it leads me to, I am fine with that, right? So that is what basically people without aspirations are settling for. If you don't have an aspiration, and if you have an aspiration and you are not working towards it, you are settling for something which is basically ordinary. You cannot expect extraordinary results. Is that clear? Do we know any successful people without any aspiration? No, right?
No,
So it's a very simple. If I want to be successful, I should have an aspiration, right? And I actually need to have a drive to basically meet that aspiration. Is that clear so far, everybody? Any questions on this?
No. Adiyan.
Okay.
Adiyan, aspiration na goal.
Aspiration na goal kuda irukkalam. You can also say it's basically a strong desire to achieve something. It can also be a goal. Yeah, you can also call it a goal.
Okay, Adiyan.
So in the picture la irukkiradhu yarum theriyuma? Does anybody know this face that you are seeing?
Adiyan, எனக்கு screen தெரியல Adiyan.
Screen தெரியலையா? எனக்கு தெரியறது அடியேன்.
Adiyan வேல athletics பண்றவா Adiyan. Adiyan நடுவுல இருக்குது விஸ்வநாதன் ஆனந்த் Adiyan.
விஸ்வநாதன் ஆனந்த் இல்ல, he is actually a sports person.
Adiyan அபினவ் பிந்த்ரா Adiyan.
அபினவ் பிந்த்ரா யார் சொன்னது அது?
Adiyan ஸ்ரீராமன்.
Sriram. So what is Abhinav Bindra's achievement? Anybody knows? Who is Abhinav Bindra and what is his achievement?
Adiyan, he was gun shooting. Gold வாங்கினா Adiyan.
No, Anjana?
Shooting la gold.
Shooting la gold எங்க வாங்கினார்? GRT liya.
Adiyan Olympic gold medalist Adiyan.
Olympic gold medalist. And what is his specialty? Shooting la Olympic first individual gold medalist for India in shooting, right? So he actually aspired to be an Olympian, right? And he worked so hard for that. And once he actually became an Olympian, he aspired to become a gold medalist. Because he said, why should I stop from just being an Olympian, right? And you won't believe, because of him, there are so many people who have started aspiring to be gold medalists in Olympics. So what has he done? You know why it is important for, I brought this example, because you are all like Abhinav Bindra aspiring to be Olympians. Like you are from the first batch of Sampradaya Manjari kids, right? You all aspire to be some leading Vidwans, you all aspire to be successful in both. So, if any one of you is successful in basically balancing this both and very successful in both, you will actually be setting aspirations for future batches. So we will say Raghav Kashyap basically did phenomenally well. He was a topper in 12th, and by the time he finished 12th, Veda Mudichitam, Prabandham Mudichitam, Deji Stotras Mudichitam. So you will be the reason for many aspirations. When Abhinav Mindra idukku pogumbodhu Olympic, he was the only one to go for shooting. அப்போ வந்து shooting qualify ஆறதே பெரிய விஷயம் for Indians. Now India actually ended up with the topmost medals in the latest world championship, right? So if you see his aspiration of just wanting to be at an Olympics, it suddenly changed, right? You cannot rest. Today I want to be a lawyer, today I want to be a scientist, tomorrow I want to be a pilot, right? The moment you are there, can you just settle down and say, oh, I want to be a pilot, I have achieved a pilot, I want to be a lawyer, I have become a lawyer? Is that all? Lawyer is just the beginning, right? Being an Olympian is just the beginning. The end result should be what? Gold medal. Then gold medal for 1 Olympics, 2 Olympics, 3 Olympics, gold medal on multiple events. So depending on the discipline that you are basically participating, right? So his aspiration changed from being entering into Olympics to basically winning gold medal. So everybody has goals, everybody has aspirations. In fact, you should aspire to become very big, not something very small. I aspire to finish my 12th standard is not a great aspiration, right? Your aspiration should be in such a way where people on listening to it should believe that it may not be possible, or nobody will believe that this is actually possible, right? They might even discourage you. If say somebody says you become a scientist if you are scoring only 50% marks in maths, they might say, oh, you are scoring 50%, you can never be a scientist. But you can't give up, because you know you want to be a scientist, you aspire to be a scientist, right? If you aspire to be someone, if you aspire to be a lawyer, you should know how to argue, right? Some people might say if you start losing few debates, people might say you can't be a lawyer, but you should not believe in those things, because you should keep on working towards it. Is that clear so far? In fact, the most absurd and reckless aspirations have sometimes led to, can just somebody complete that, fill up the blanks? Can you think of a word? Can you hear me?
Aryan, extraordinary, Aryan.
Awesome. Fantastic. So the most absurd and reckless, like Aditya thinking நான் வந்து சங்கீத கலாநிதி ஆகணும் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறேன்னு வச்சுக்கோ. It might look absurd at this stage, right? But it could lead to extraordinary success. So aspire big. Next is
Aryan, beautiful success.
okay. Extraordinary is what. Nice.
Aryan, can I say
Okay.
what drive?
Okay. What does drive mean?
Aryan, drive means if you have a pathway of success, like you want to like when you want to aspire, you have a pathway to follow. Going
When somebody is talking, and you should have the basic courtesy not to speak when somebody is talking. Let him finish. Everybody is given a chance, right?
Aryan, who?
Cholunga Pranav.
Okay. So drive means taking yourself in the pathway of aspiration. Like you aspire to be a scientist. So the pathway you go in that,
By following all rules is known as drive.
Fantastic. Very good. So is it important to have a drive? Is it enough if I just aspire and don't have a drive?
again drive na நம்ம சக்சஸ் நோக்கி போறது again அதாவது நம்ம அதுக்கு கஷ்டம் அதுக்கு உண்டான கஷ்டங்கள்லாம் பட்டு நல்லா உழைச்சு அந்த இதுக்கு அந்த ட்ரீமுக்கு போறது again
ட்ரீமுக்கு போறது நம்மாழ்வார் சேவிக்கணும்னா 12,000 தடவை கண்ணினம் திருத்தாம சொல்லணுங்கிறதும் டிரைவ் ரைட்
ஆமா.
So if Aditya wants to be a singer, you have to practice 5 hours. If you want to be a Sangeeta Kalanidhi, you have to practice 8 hours a day. Abdina, you have to practice 8 hours a day. Can you actually become one without practicing?
No, Aryan. No, Aryan.
நமக்கு எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கே, but we still don't do it. So what is the reason?
Laziness, Aryan.
Either you don't have the drive or the aspiration is just from the mouth. You don't want it as badly like what you say. Having the energy and determination to achieve what you aspire to be. So is aspiration without drive enough? All of you have said no. Right? Very good. How do we show our drive for what we aspire to be? This is again, somebody need not chase you. If you want to be a scientist, if you want to be a singer, அம்மா அப்பா வந்து சொல்லணும்னு அவசியமே இல்லை. நீ 8 மணி நேரம் ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணல, நீ டெய்லி ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணல. So there can only be like, if you don't have the drive, then your aspiration is not true. It's as simple as that. If you aspire to be a singer, if you're not attending classes, if you're not practicing, your aspiration is not right. Correct? Am I right to say that?
Yes.
If you aspire to be a doctor, if you're not studying well, can you actually become a doctor?
No, Aryan. No, Aryan.
If you put in the efforts and the results are not coming, it will come. You don't need to worry. But if there is no effort, then there is a problem. Do you understand the difference between the two? You can still practice 8 hours a day and you may not still be a successful singer because sometimes some people need more time. But the minimum requirement is 8 hours of practice for you to be a successful singer, right? Do you think Virat Kohli doesn't get into the nets? Actually, he goes into the nets every day and he still fails to score, right? Sometimes success can elude in spite of all of these things. You know, Abhinav Brinda put in the same efforts as what he did for 2008, for 2004. But he didn't win the medal. So, success will come eventually. You cannot give up. But not actually doing anything will definitely ensure a failure. Do you understand the difference?
Yes, Aryan.
Okay, Diane. Super, Diane. All smart kids, Diane. So, the key thing is, if you have self-discipline, aspiration, drive and determination, dash is impossible. What is that?
Aryan, nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible, right? But what is the key thing is, எல்லாம் சொல்றேன், எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கு எல்லாருக்கும், but how many of you are actually working on a timetable? Na மொத்தம் 50 பேர்ல 5 பேர் வச்சிருக்கேன். You all aspire to be something, ஆனா எத்தனை பேர் அந்த aspirationக்காக work பண்றீங்கன்னா probably again 5% of the people. That's why if you look at the number of successful people, it's always a low percentage, right? How many people are competing for an event and how many are winning gold medals, right? Because the drive to actually need that, the power of conviction, right? The visualization. In fact, there is a very good example. I heard a story. Rendu Olympian basically became roommates. And roommates on a pro from the same country but different disciplines. They entered into a room. They were all excited because it's their first Olympics, right? And the rendu per ponavane orthan the first person got very excited because to be in the Olympics village, sharing the room there as a Olympian became, such a pride moment for him. So he was so proud that he is an Olympian and he is representing the country. He wants to do well. Then the second person came. He came with a nail and hammer. So one day on the room la or aani adichittu, first thing he did after entering the room was basically doing that. Or aani adichu and adla vechinta room la. You know why did he do that? This was even before the event started. Can anybody guess what was the intention? Was it to hang his clothes?
To hang his medal again.
Hang his medal. Wow. Keshav. Fantastic. I'm so overwhelmed with the thought process of all of you. You all will be very successful. There is absolutely no doubt. To hang his medal, he did that, right? Even before the competition started. So when the competition ended, can you guess who out of the two actually won the medal?
I think the second one.
The second one. Why?
Because he aspired to do it.
Because he believed he will definitely actually going to win and he need a place to hang his medal, right?
I think because of the confidence.
That is the confidence. So he started visualizing, right? Running a race, winning there, coming and hanging. So the confidence, aspiration is very, very, very important. It shows that is the drive, right? Did somebody tell you you just go and basically first fix a nail? No, right? That's the confidence. Fantastic. I'm so impressed with all of you kids. Okay. I'm going to play a small video, basically 5 minutes each, just to tell you something. We have got time, another 10 minutes, but I want to give you some homework. I choose this example of Abhinav Bindra because you are also a kind of first-time Olympians, right? Aspiring to be first-time Olympians because you're all, most of you are first or second batch Sampradaya Manjari kids. You are going to be role models for many generations, actually. So if all of you are successful, everybody else will feel that Sampradaya Manjari will definitely make us successful. So I aspire to see all of you kids to be successful in both academics and Sampradaya education. Shall we all do it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ஆண்டி அடிச்ச மாதிரி வரணும். எஸ்.
Again, we will
Confidence
want to
in
become
which you say yes should make me feel good.
Yes, sir. Again.
சொல்லுங்க.
Again, adala pannentu we should not also leave Sampradayam.
Correct. Sampradayam we will never leave. If you stay till Sampradaya Manjari end, you will never leave Sampradayam. It will stay with you forever. Okay, so example உங்களுக்கு என்னன்னா, you could also aspire to be like our Vidwans. இப்போ நான் என்ன உங்களுக்கு எக்ஸாம்பிள் இது ஹோம்ஒர்க் என்னன்னா, பிஃபோர் த நெக்ஸ்ட் செஷன் அபினவ் பந்தாவோட ஆஸ்பிரேஷன்ஸ் என்ன, what were some of his drive to achieve what he achieved, and relate that to what you aspire to be and what should be the drive and the determination that is required. It can be any role. இது வந்து I repeat again, this is not just a Sampradaya Manjari topic. You don't need to say just because it's a Sampradaya Manjari class or session, you don't need to say na batra agano, na vandu vidwan agano, na vandu vadiyar agano, guru, nothing. It can be anything on earth. We all want to see you successful both in academics as well as in Sampradaya. So there are no restrictions, but what I want to do is, what is Abhinav Bindra's aspiration? What was his drive and determination? How did he achieve that? The same thing I want basically you to talk about it for a couple of minutes what is your aspiration? So for example, if you want to be a lawyer, talk to a successful lawyer and say, what is the drive and determination required? If I want to be a scientist, if I want to be a singer, if I want to be like me, what is that is required to be like me? If you want, somebody wants, like as Keshav said, I want to be like me. So what is that is required? If somebody wants to be like Smt Prabha Senesh, what is it that is required? If somebody wants to be like Vasudeva Swami, what is it that is required? Right? So you should relate to his drive and determination to what you aspire to be. Is that clear?
Okay.
That is your video for home video. You can actually post it in the group, and some of the very interesting videos will basically be shared during our next talk. Okay, wow. So start visualizing your aspirations and have a drive. So it's about your ability and the determination to overcome those obstacles, right? So the message that you got to basically take along today is, there will be obstacles. There will be obstacles to your academic education. There will be obstacles to your Sampradaya education. There will be obstacles to your time management. There will be obstacles to whatever that you want to do. But you should still have the determination to overcome those obstacles and ensure that you basically become what you aspire to be. So all of you, fantastic, very impressed. Thank you so much. And do the homework. Take both the videos. The links will be posted in the group. And I want a video, not more than 5 minutes. The best videos will be shared during the next session. Dhanyosmi.